Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account, and the first thing I want to do was say thank you for all the viewers, all the support, and all of the love. We did get an animate or a regular avatar frame, which is really cool. You can see it up there, and I saved the email, or maybe the email was deleted, but we did get an avatar frame, which was awesome to see, and I love this avatar frame. Now, the reason being, you can see the hero's face. So when we look at here, we have the Whispers of Bloom, the Quiet Murmurs. So we did get that animated avatar, or excuse me, I keep saying animated, that avatar frame. Now, when you look a lot of these, they cover almost the entire hero's face. I do not like them at all. Even this one, guys, you have eyeballs right here in the middle, so you're not able to see it. But there are a lot of this where you can see it. It's kind of off to the side. And again, thank you for all of the donations and everything that we had with this event. It is absolutely amazing. So we have Sunrise here, Withered, Papa, Akaya is here, as well as Louise. So this is going to be question and answer. So I want to go through here. We'll do some summons. We'll do a couple other things, but this is the question and answer. And I already see the first question right there. Best 10 heroes to build as free to play. Now, honestly, this is relatively easy as free to play. Now, I did get some resources out of here. This was from the VIP code. Let's go ahead and delete that one. And it's been kind of acting funny in here, but that's okay. And what's going on? Thank you guys for joining me. So best 10 heroes free to play. Let's go ahead and run this down. And honestly, it's pretty easy to go in because I want to hop in the oak in. Now, I'm not going to do the summons in here, but when it comes to the 10 heroes, right here is pretty much or excuse me, we're not on the free to play account. Never mind. That's right. So 10 heroes, thinking about heroes in general. And if I lose track of how many is exactly 10, pretty much if you are free to play, there are some really, really big heroes that are important. And again, free to play, are we talking very early game free to play? Are we talking, later on free to play? Depending on exactly what it is, but we can run through the factions and kind of show you exactly what it kind of looks like as a free to play player. Now, of course, when you start looking free to play, getting Awakened Heroes, getting Celestials and Hypos are a lot easier than it was once upon a time. You can actually get a lot of them on a regular basis through regular summons. They're a lot easier to get and a lot easier to build. So again, free to play, we can start very easy with the Awakened Heroes. The Awakened version of Athalia would be an absolute priority to get as a free to play player, followed by Liberta. When we even look at Liberta, absolutely the number one utility within AFK Arena. There isn't a place that this hero isn't being used, including the Temporal Rift. This hero absolutely dominates the healing, the damage, everything that this hero brings. Super, super imperative. So there's two of our heroes. Then, of course, Aurelia. And again, thinking of some of these heroes, and we'll go over some of the regular 4-faction heroes. Aurelia would definitely be one. Even thinking Demia, even thinking of like a Lavatoon or Nox. All of those heroes you can acquire free to play. It does take a little bit more time. Again, depending on when we see the heroes used, or essentially where you are when you're making regular progression within the towers. This, of course, is one of the biggest, most important places within AFK Arena. As you're going through here and you're making progression on a regular basis, you will be getting your Stargazer scrolls. This is the reason when we talk earlier game, pushing and getting 3 ascended heroes of each faction is an absolute priority, because you have the ability to get the Stargazer scrolls, and also you are going to be getting the rewards that are coming from just the regular campaign progression, which include all of your time emblems. So when you think of the most powerful heroes in AFK Arena, you have your Awakened, you have your Celestials and your Hypos. It is giving you the ability to actually summon both of those in their entirety. Now, when we think of the other heroes, which of course, draconic heroes, honestly, at this point, it's a hit or miss. If you wanted to say one hero that I'd buy pretty much as a free-to-play player, what could be easier? I would probably say Scion. Utility-wise, not as difficult to get as the Highborn Draconic heroes. Utility-wise, still very, very high. But when you start looking at like a Halia, when you start looking at Skylan, looking at Lan, Gwen, they're ultra, ultra expensive and very, way too high in my opinion to build. So overall, Scion would be the only one that I would do here if you're looking at someone free to play. Nyla has a little bit of utility. Meleon has a little bit of utility, but really Scion is the big one. Now, regular 4 factions, you can kind of break this down systematically. And again, if we're thinking earlier as the 10 best heroes to build as free to play, Scarlet is super imperative, not only used in the Nightmare Corridor, but if you don't have a lot of heroes built, she is very important in a lot of other places in AFK Arena because she does damage really, really fast. Also, Jerome, another one that is high utility. Same with Palmer. They're really the three that we see the highest utility out of the Lightbearer faction as it sits right now. When we get into the Maulers, honestly, Naruko is the one to build in here. I know a lot of players do build out Vika and Gorin are really the three, I would say, out of this faction. Looking at our Wilders, Aethys is an absolute priority in here. So is Misha. So Misha, again, another big priority. Tamara's you could do, or Trishea. A lot of players choose not to build Trishea, but Tamara's you could do, still having a lot of utility, a lot of crowd control with this hero itself, working incredibly well. And then, of course, in the Greyborn, there is really two heroes that shine above all others within the Greyborn, which, of course, is Ivan and Randy. When you look at Ivan, when you look at Randy, they are the absolute devastating heroes, best in slot in a lot of formations. Ivan is being used in a crazy amount of content, and actually Randy, being support, being agility, is actually being used as the best in slot damage dealer in a lot of different formations. Again, utility-wise, this hero is pretty broken overall. When you look at the ability to really carry formations, used in every single game mode, that's why it falls right into that very top of that SS tier, and could possibly see him go higher if we get a little bit more utility out of there. I'm building Awakened Lyca and have Awakened Chimera and Athalia. Who should I build over? I'm thinking of building a different faction. So when you look at utility-wise, you know, the Awakened version of Belinda still does have quite a bit of utility. I know the Awakened version of Lucius is another one that does incredibly well. The thing with Lucius, like we said before, is you do have to have him built out considerably to be effective. If you build him with a plus 30 signature item, if you don't have the engraving on him, Lucius is not going to be effective like he needs to be in formations. Absolutely a big priority to build. And then, of course, looking here, out of these three, I probably wouldn't build any of them. Looking at the Awakened version of Antandra, this is the only one that we're still seeing quite a bit of utility out of, and best in slot in some of the formations. Ultimately, if you replace her with another hero, Sophia's starting to drop down the tier list as well. Again, not seeing as much utility. In here, we are seeing a lot of utility out of Lyca, and also a lot of utility out of the Awakened version of Erod. Now, when you think Treasure Scramble, when you think of Cursed Realm, when you think of a couple different formations, Campaign Tower formations, the Awakened version of Erod is doing incredibly well. And then, of course, in here, Chimera is still the top one, probably followed by Thorin, depending. And again, Thorin does require a bigger build out, does require the plus 40 signature item to be super effective within different game modes. Again, does require a little bit more of a building out there. What's going on, Yoga and Wellness and Moneymaker as well? I'm stuck in chapter 29. I'm actually using Rem, Chimera, Aethys, Liberta, and Rowan, but it keeps getting hard because of the power level. So the big thing, Akai, is you're at the point where you need more levels. There is a point of AFK Arena where you're not going to be able to make progression any further, just for the simple fact that you have hit the wall of having higher level heroes. And that, of course, comes from the Resonating Crystal. You're probably at 240 or close to 240 by now. There is something to be said when you're gaining levels, when you're making progression in the campaign. Because remember, bigger picture, guys, when you look at the campaign formations, when you look at tower formations, it is 100% dependent on levels. You can actually over level your heroes to make a lot of progression in those game modes without making a lot of progression elsewhere. Levels make a really big difference in those game modes. Now, when we start looking at your Cursed Realm, your Nightmare Corridor, your Treasure Scramble, levels are not important in those game modes, but the primary game modes, those campaign progression and towers, is driven by the levels themselves, which make a big difference. What's going on, Mesmer? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, chapter 29, when you start hitting 29, 30, then you start getting into a multitude or two teams. Very important. And you said you're running Rem, Chimera, Aethys, Liberta, and Rowan. That's a good one, but I would definitely run, and if you want to make it easier, running Randy and running the combination of Ivan will do incredibly well if you dropped Ivan in that formation, because right now you're running too much damage, not enough survivability. Rowan is not going to be able to keep that whole team alive, Akai. You need some more crowd control. You need a couple other things. Definitely need a little bit more in there out of a couple different game modes. For AFK Arena, after watching your tier list, what do you think I should Stargaze for? I have Sheltier Ascended 1 star. Have a copy of Twins and a copy of Taylene. Honestly, getting Sheltier. So Mind Sick, the big difference in companions is the divine effects. So when you think of the ability, let's just use for instance right here the awakened version of Lucia or Leica. When you're in companions, if you look at companions, the tier effect or the further effect you're getting in is a combination of the furniture and the engraving together. When you start getting those divine effects, that is the reason when it gets to building those heroes up a little bit higher, like taking Sheltier all the way to Ascended at the 5 stars. I would leave Sheltier where she is. I would probably go in there and I would get Dimensional Spirits for Ainz. Now we know over on, and again, we're only talking companions at this point, but when you look at Ainz in the companion server, he is an absolute dynamite. He is a very, very big hero to have. If you haven't built out, he's doing incredibly well in companions. AFK Arena, he's in like the C, I believe C or D tier over here. Again, they didn't increase his power enough to make a big difference. But overall, yes, in companions, I would get some more spirits because it's going to get expensive. Could Mira's utility change? Yes. Guys, Mira has been out for a couple days. Now remember, with the new heroes, the test server only really reveals so much information till we see the hero like Mira up on the global release. Now, when we think of global, you're talking, millions of players that are going to be using that. And look at that, Mind Sick subscribing to the channel. We are about 200 off of the 40,000 mark, which is kind of incredible. To see that we have that many players and that many subscribers to the channel, that is awesome. Thank you for the sub. But like I was saying, can Mira's utility change? 100%. Absolutely. If we start seeing this hero used in different formations, and I was surprised being a mage, being a burst damage, I thought that she would go into the Nightmare Corridor. And the issue is that we're seeing with Mira is Mira contains a lot of crowd control. When you start going through the skills and abilities, a lot of it is revival like this, which again, thinking of the Nightmare Corridor, thinking of the Curse Realm, she's not going to take fatal damage. A lot of these abilities are not going to be present. Now, Mira is being used and used very well within campaign formations, but when you look at crowd control, again, thinking of the boss fights, thinking of those game modes, not a huge reason to have the crowd control within those game modes. Treasure Scramble definitely could be used, but the rest of there, not a lot of utility, not a lot of use cases with Mira just because of the abilities they gave her. Again, crowd control is not effective within those boss fights, which is the reason why a lot of players just choose to go that way. Let me go ahead and set this. We'll answer some more questions. We'll go through a lot more in here. Now looking at this, I stay right around the 500 because this is 933. If you remember, we're at 997 or no, 995. 995 already. So let me go ahead and set this so we can answer some more questions in there. What is going on? How am I doing? I'm doing well today. Got some shopping to do. Been crazy busy with a lot of different things with the kids, but absolutely having a ton of fun. Regarding the Resonating Crystal, should I continue with naturally unlocking of slots or is it advised to buy the slots? So Minister, I would get to the point where having about 20 slots, that is recommended because at that point you have about 20 slots. Naturally unlocking comes a lot faster because of the Field of Stars. Before with the Resonating Crystal, it took forever to unlock. People were buying slots on a regular basis. At this point, there is no point. There is no reason. There is really no reason to buy the slots in there. Maybe a little bit earlier game you could, but as you get a little bit further, no, do not buy the slots. Save your diamonds for other things in there. Could you go over the 3 teams for the towers? So 3 teams for the towers, G-Star, that is incredibly difficult. So there is not a set 3 teams that are running the towers, and it's going to be 100% dependent on what you have in your formations, what heroes you built. There's no way to go over exactly what 3 teams are going to be super effective within the tower formations. That is the reason why we have the recommended formations, because if you do not have heroes built, they're going to be excluded from those teams. Use the recommended formations. And again, when you start looking at 3 teams, it's incredibly difficult because now you need 15 heroes. For my account personally here, I have, all of the Awakened heroes, making it incredibly easy to go through. So my team would consist of 1 Awakened hero for each faction in each team. Most players don't have them built out, but it just does take time. I'm trying to get more Belinda copies, but my summon rates suck. What would help? More summons. That's it, Sunrise. When you look at a game like AFK Arena, it is about the ability to just continue through all of the progression. More summons, more summons. It is literally a game of numbers, Sunrise. When you start looking at the ability to make progression and just move through a lot more content a lot faster, it is just a numbers game. If you're doing 100 summons or 500 summons or 1,000 summons, it is really impressive. Have you decided if you want to do more Stars of the Awakened Heroes? I have not, Mesmer. I haven't even really thought about that. Is Awakened Lucius actually good without the SI40? No, he needs it. So Tynox, yeah, the Awakened version of Lucius is ultra stat dependent. That is the reason why when you look at the plus 40 signature item, and I mean, they recommend optimal build for Lucius is even looking at a plus 40 signature item and 18 furniture. So even doubling up on that 9 of 9 furniture and then going to a 72 engraving. And I've done that math a lot. With those heroes, that is what they've recommended the build. That is not even the whale build. That is the recommended build. Because again, because the hero is so very stat dependent, he does need it. What's going on, Yoshi? I'm currently stuck. Send it. I don't really know what to do. Oh, I think we answered that, Akai. Should I build Awaken Lucius or Awaken Iran or keep the cards? At this point, I would wait. Now thinking of it today, guys, I would pause on building the Awakened version of Lucius or looking at Iran. Wait to see what the new Hippo looks like, because this Wednesday, so we are talking in 3 more days, that's it, just 3 more days, we should have all of the information for the new Awakened hero on the Hippo side. If the hero is not effective, if we're seeing the hero not having the utility that we thought, you can always just circle back, use those discounted summons to build Lucius or Iran, absolutely. But I don't want the new Awakened hero to come out, be absolutely broken, and now you burned all of your resources essentially to use it elsewhere. Save the resources. Knowing that the new Awakened hero is literally the next hero we're getting, save those resources in its entirety. What's going on, Carol? Hello, Furry Hippo. If you're free to play, yeah, wait for the next one. It should be next patch. Absolutely. #1 supporter, Purple Butterfly. I love it, Carol. Thank you. I have all the Awakened up to date other than Iran. Thorin, do you recommend one over the other? I mean, personally, I do like the Awakened version of Iran. I feel like I'm using Iran a lot more than Thorin, just for the simple fact that Iran, again, Campaign Towers works incredibly well, but also a lot of other places, yeah, Iran is still being used. I would just wait. Yeah, I would just wait for the new one, like we kind of said. Even here, guys, right here's the Awakened version of Iran. Like I was talking about earlier, utility-wise, crowd control, this is huge. I mean, the hero does incredibly well in a lot of different game modes. I've already built Shamira, Belinda. I'm almost done with Leica. I want to build Gavis next, but I'm interested in your opinion. Again, I would wait. Arrestor? I would wait to see what the next hero is going to look like. I have 500 emblems, 500 Stargazer. Yeah, is Mira worth building? Right now, not really. The problem with Mira is we're not seeing her used in a lot of different places. If you're like me and you have a majority of them built out, yes, you can absolutely get the hero. I've built her and I haven't used her. I literally have not built the hero or used it as of right now. For the amount of hero XP and the resonating crystal with levels getting higher, can you show how much EXP you know? So Duckface, there is a point, did we finish that? There is a point that the EXP caps. So that's the big thing, is you'll get to a point, and I can show you guys, where it's going to, and you're going to be so far way over capped on EXP. Even looking here, guys, we have 177 billion EXP, and we need what, 75,000 to advance. Again, you're going to be so over leveled or over hero EXP cap. You just wait every single time for your essence, and that's what we're waiting for. We're absolutely waiting for this in the entirety, and you will get to a point where essence is going to be the only thing that you need, and literally you're just going to wait every single time that we have the opportunity, just waiting for essence in the entirety. That's it. Am I going to play the free-to-play account? We could hop over a little bit. Is there a new Hypo coming? Yes. Yes, Carol, it is going to be an awakened Hypo. We've already seen some of the little screenshots with the new hero, but it is going to be an awakened Hypo hero. Not confirmed from AFK Arena yet. Haven't seen that, but absolutely, that's it. Love your content. Keep it up. Free to play push is awesome. Basically a similar build. Are you going to do the Temporal Rift? I've already started. So the Temporal Rift, guys, over here on this account, and again, on this account, because the account is so old, it's very easy to make progression in here because I have all the heroes built. Now remember, Temporal Rift wise, Trade Enhancer is the only thing, even at this level, that I build. Trade Enhancer is the one and the only, but going in here, setting your teams, it's relatively easy to go in. Even configurations, you can see we don't have anyone, but I want to say campaign. I think these are my independent Temporal Rift teams. I would have to look because there's the Brute, there's my campaign teams, there's my campaign teams. I'm going to have to see exactly what heroes that I have built in here. But honestly, because of where I have my heroes built, and as you can see, we do have most heroes built out in the entirety. It's very easy to get through 300 floors of the Temporal Rift. I can push through it pretty quick. What's going on, Jordan? Yeah, so let me, we'll stop about halfway. I know Mesmer, please remind me. We can hop over to the free to play account. We can see exactly what it looks like. But like I've said earlier, when it comes to making progression in AFK Arena, everything that you need is and does come from the King's Tower, guys. This is the place where you want to farm, and we already got this one up to 120. When you think of all of your resources, when you look at diamonds, when you look at your essence, when you look at your Stargazer cards, when you look at your time emblems, when you look at everything that you need within AFK Arena, it comes and it will be found within the towers, literally rotating through all the faction towers, rotating through the King's Tower. You will find everything you need in pretty much to build everything within these formations. It's all there. It is all there for it. What do you think about Hera? Decent in the tower and campaign. That's it. And that's it, Kazi. That's the only place we're seeing Mira right now. Tower campaign formations. And of course, towers a given. Because of the power creep, Graveborn heroes, and her being new, absolutely works out. What's the best step for mid-game at chapter 36? Combat rating cap until I progress. So the best thing, Joe, is to, really you have two options. So you really just farm everything for levels. So I'll show you, and I don't know if Lith is on here. I haven't seen Lith. Finally got the chat working. Lith is here. So I want to show you guys. So let me see if we can get this done. So Lith focused on levels. Now I know he sent me some screenshots over on Discord and everything. Lith focused on levels versus having massive hero builds. Now when you think of Trisha, and I don't know if Trisha is in here as well, Trisha focused on hero builds versus doing levels at all. So you literally have both sides of the coin, because when we start looking, let's say even PvP formations, when you start looking in right here as Lith, you can see level 1023. Now this was a major, massive focus on gaining levels. Levels, of course, are going to equate to power. When we think of levels, that is where you have, 3.6 trillion combat rating. Levels make a huge difference because remember, when you're adding one single level to any of your heroes, it is applying to all the heroes you have here. The power level or the combat rating is going to go through the roof because you're leveling up 5 heroes instead of building out one specific hero. So again, kind of on the flip side of what we were thinking, Lith says he kind of did both, is when we think of Trisha. So Trisha was actually the opposite. Trisha and really went in here and built out heroes in the entirety, had a crazy amount of SI40 signature items, had a ton of engraving, had a lot of 80 engraving, had a lot of furniture. So focusing on that, Trisha's level was much higher, but the hero builds were way stronger, allowing the combat rating to go higher because the heroes were built out in their entirety. So it is kind of a double-edged sword, but if you're at the point, focus on resources, focus on the generation of getting essence in your entirety to be able to go through there. Would this be fair priority list for Gen 3 Awoken? Lucius, Iran, Thorin, Antandra, Gavis, Eugene, Shop? Yeah, absolutely would be. I mean, I might put Iran before Lucius because, again, Lucius requires such a very high build. Yeah, it's a little bit of kind of a double-edged sword. Let's do some summons in here, guys, before we swap over, because I think we got about another 10 or 15 minutes. Let me use the stones because remember, we did also have the reset. There is my copy of Eugene. I believe at this point we are one and only one copy away from having Eugene built out and completed in the entirety. There's a copy of Warwick. There's a copy of Misha or Mishka because we don't have the other one. And I think summon-wise, I really don't think we have many summons in here. Again, saving up, we have 123,000 diamonds, and I know we used all of them for Mira. So in here, we have 10 scrolls. We have 2 summons, it looks like, with companion points. Might not get anything out of here, but remember, every summon is a shot for an Awakened, for a Celestial, for a Hypo hero. Every single one that we do, or it's just going to be rare that is just going to be recycled food. 856 on our Stargazer scrolls. Temple of Time, we're at 866. So saving, and I mean coming up on 1,000 of both of those, which again is kind of crazy. Rest of these heroes just kind of recycled. And at this point, we only have 4 heroes within AFK Arena of the primary factions that we do not have built out in the entirety, which is Raul, we have Goran, we have Misha, and then we do have Mira that are not built out. Everybody else is built out in the entirety. So don't even have to worry about that anymore because we have pretty much all of those primary 4 factions built. And even a lot of them we do have built out a lot further. When we start looking at a lot of the Awakened heroes, we've added a multitude of stars. But looking at Eugene, we have 1, we have 2. Yep, 1 more copy of Eugene, and he will be at 5 stars as well. So he will be done. Even looking Frampton, we have Mortis. I mean, a lot of these we are starting to get maxed out in the entirety, which of course came from the store. I'm waiting, fingers crossed, that we do get an update to some of these stores because as you can see, we can't buy anyone. Even down here, we don't have anyone. And then even in here, we're just buying out resources because we don't have access to any of the heroes. We already have everyone. So at some point, we're going to have new heroes or updated heroes to be able to go in there. Only got out there for collections is the skill, which you should build in each hero. I asked about the 40 Lucius because I have a 700 treasure ready to build the Awakened hero. I was thinking about Lucius. Yeah, I would wait to see who's coming. Like I said, if you're sitting on 700 emblems, I would definitely wait to see exactly what happens with the new hero. Yeah, what's going on, Zolthimus? Other heroes like Awakened Athel, you need attack collection. Yes, absolutely. So we got some. So even here in the collections, guys, ones like this, we have some strong physical pierce. We have our skill levels, followed by some attack. I'm just farming up resources essentially to build these up a little bit higher, and it's very, very slow within the collections itself. Absolutely. What level are you currently? What level? We're on 995. 995 currently, and of course, they haven't changed level 400. Haven't seen any update as we go into March on where we are for the updates to the bosses, everything that kind of Don promised us. Haven't seen it. Still waiting to see exactly what it is. If you had to pick one modern or recent hero build, I mean, some of the support heroes, as when you look at the utility of these heroes, even thinking, looking at these ones, looking at Palmer, yes, Nox, yes, Liberta, yes, Lavatoon, yes, Misha, absolutely, Randy, yes. There are so many of these that literally just going down the support line, looking at Shuna, absolutely, looking at, Lucilla, absolutely, looking at Ivan, yes, there are so many support heroes that are an absolute requirement to build, which is huge. See you later, Hypogenian Supremacy, see you later. I got 30K diamonds, very nice, Carol, that is awesome. Dragonforge Trials, like I said before, I finished this out to the 10, which means we are capped. It actually reset and we are still at the max. Dragon Temple, still looking for land. Need some more copies, and there's one. Could it be more than one, guys? It is just another single. That means we're one copy away from getting this hero up to the engraving. One closer. There's one copy closer because I believe now that gives us 2 that we have of land, 1 and 2. We need 1 copy of land, and then land is done. We'll do the engraving on there, and then everything we're going to save to see exactly what does come next down the pipeline. Oh man, the draconic heroes are just like pulling teeth. It is so incredibly hard to get those. He has chapter 69 for the, yeah, chapter 69 already in here. If you're early stage, use diamonds for faction. Yes, absolutely. So let's hop over. I think we're about halfway done. Let me hop over to the free to play account. Now, I haven't been on this account since yesterday. Again, it's been super, super busy here. Let's hop over. Yeah, draconic heroes too expensive, 100%. And I'm hoping with the ability or with us seeing when we see the update or for the 6th anniversary that we get to swap draconic heroes. I know that that's a question that I've been getting kind of on a daily basis. I am hoping that at the point of getting and us having the update for the 6th anniversary, that they're going to allow us to essentially swap draconic heroes. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. We're going to have to wait and see if we're going to be able to, or when we're going to be able to build those. Now in here, I still borrow Athalia. They're sour. There's a couple heroes it looks like that have the hero built in the entirety. Definitely want to build that hero out or borrow that hero. I've also built out, there's Lith, there's Soul, so Mesmer. Definitely want to borrow some of those. That way we can continue to use them. In here, like I said, we hadn't hopped on in, it looked like 18 hours. So it's been probably about a day, 27:34. Again, we haven't hopped in here. Let's go ahead. And I know in here, we're already up to 180, even looking, and we were waiting to get some more essence to build out and continue building out Randy. So Randy, we're at 26 of 30. I feel like we can make a lot more progression in here with what we have built. Also looking to build his engraving a little bit higher, but let me pick up all of these rewards that we have. Now, of course, Ghoulish Gallery, we've been running through this quite a bit and we've gotten to the point where we can auto this. And again, I stress that even though the Ghoulish Gallery sucks, and I really, really do say that, and I really do feel that the Ghoulish Gallery is not the funnest thing to do, go in here, suck it up, do your resources, go in there, make progression in there. It's going to be beneficial. It is absolutely going to be beneficial. But like I was saying, with the Draconic heroes, yes, they're too expensive for everyone. There's not many people that can make a lot of progression or have the ability to get them out. Is there a swap event? Should I swap Belinda's SI for Iran? You could crash. The thing is, we do still see Belinda used in a few formations. That's something to remember. Let me hit up these towers. And I was just thinking, guys, we're going to have to make, let me go in here and farm up these towers. So we have 40 floors we could make in here, which again, looking at what we have here, shouldn't be a problem finishing out 40 floors. This should be pretty easy to get through. I got double copies of Skyland. I did too. Star Garcia, I got the copies of Skyland. I actually got them on the regular summons, if you guys remember. We got a ton of copies of Skyland, which I didn't want at all, but now we do have them. Yeah, Lith, absolutely. The ridiculous part of the game is a dragon swap. I would love to see. That is exactly what I'm hoping is going to be coming, is we're going to see a dragon swap. I had a question to Hippo, but didn't get a response about my situation. My team is actually Rem 2 stars, Aethys, star 1 legendary Liberta, 1 legendary Shamira, and Rowan. Oh, okay, yeah, I answered that a little while ago. But yeah, looking at that, like I said, Rem is good. You have to keep Rem alive. So when you look at Liberta, when you're running Shamira, when you're running Rowan, you need more support or crowd control in there. That is really the broken. I wouldn't run Rem with Aethys. I would look at building Randy. I would look at building Ivan. Because again, Rem, you have to keep alive. Even Rem being run in there, I would drop out Liberta. But I would run Rem in there with Ivan, which would work incredibly well. You could use Randy or even use Rem as a secondary team. Rowan is good, but again, Rowan doesn't provide the crowd control that you're looking for to keep Rem alive. You need a little bit better support in there, or a little bit of a swap out of there. What you using the free? What hero are you using on this account for the temporary? Oh yeah, temporary in here, Liberta, and I do use Athalia. I also sometimes use a buffer as like I'll pick up a Lava Tune or I'll pick up an Aurelia, just for the simple fact they will do very, very well if I need a support hero. What's going on, Selvu? How's it go? Just joined. How's it going? It's going great. We did, and we covered the pay to win account, got a little bit more progression in there. Now we're over here again, tower progression. This is a point, like we said, when it comes to tower progression in here, it is imperative. How can I spend Mithril? So Mithril is used when you buy purchases. If you're talking specifically what you should be buying, let me know. But yeah, Oh no, it's okay, Kai. That's why I said, guys, here it's a safe place. We create a safe place here on this channel. No, just a little PSA. No, you're not bothering at all. That's why I said if you have the questions, absolutely drop them in there. But I'm sure looking at your formation in chapter 29, Akai, Rem's probably dying too fast. Aethys doesn't get his crowd control up fast enough. Libirda's not going to do anything just at legendary with that high of a level deficiency. Even if you put someone in there more support or as a crowd control hero would work a little bit better. Shamira in there for the SP effect, absolutely. So crowd control or more support. Got to keep them alive in there. Will you do a pet guide for the beginning as example for this new account? Yeah, it's easy with the new account. So when you think of getting the heroes up to and getting resonating crystal level 6, you want the seal, you want, what's the second one? So in here, again, guys, it's easy because for an early guide, looking at our beast ground, you want these three. So you want the panda, you want the owl, you want the seal. Those are going to be the main one you're building. This, and of course, looking at resonating crystal, you are going to take all of them up to 6. So the way to do this is I'm going to summon until one of these hits 6. So let's say, for instance, the owl hits level 6. I'm going to drop out the owl. I'm going to put in another beast, which again, thinking of the heroes that we have within here, there's a few, like right here, the spooky spectator would work. I am going to leave the other 2 in here, which means when they get to 6, we are going to continue to overbuild them. When they get to resonating, it is going to return us a bunch of resources to build and pump back into like the owl, because that is how the beast trick kind of works, is when you get to the point of building up these beasts or getting summons for these beasts, you're going to hit the point where you're going to have them all to 6, then they're all going to go to 6, then they're going to go to 9, then they're going to go to 12, then so on and so forth. They're going to continue out. So when you think of an early beast guide like this account, literally these are the only 3 beasts that you need, and you need these beasts built all the way up to 6. When you think of the ability to get all 3 of these beasts up to level 6, it's going to take a while. It is absolutely going to take a while, Joaquin, just for the simple fact that getting these beasts up to 6, which I believe right now I have the owl at 3, this is at 1, and we have not even gotten any copies of the other one. You're talking probably weeks, more theoretically, probably months before you get them all to 6, before you actually get to build them all the way up to 6. It's going to take quite a while with the beast. And of course, I always say from the beginning, build out and get the beast first. When you look at one of the big game-changing things within AFK Arena, getting and building out the beasts very, very quickly makes a big difference. I know between heroes, between everything else, it's going to make a big difference. But honestly, when you're going through here and making progression, beasts do have a really big impact in this game. Very, very easy to build. And again, once you get to 6, then you're going to have to build out a couple more, but eventually you'll get them all to 18, even though it might take an incredible amount of time. There's going to be a point where you do get them built. Let me hop in here. Let me do some summons. Yeah, that's why for like a beginner's guide, there's not a ton that you can really do. There's only, and honestly, beginner's guide, build the 3 beasts. That's it. That is really all that you need. Again, let me do a couple more summons in here. We'll go ahead and knock some of these out. So 1, 2, hopefully we get a pull for someone like Ivan. A double right there, guys. Very nice. Homer and Misha, 2 heroes. Absolutely. We want to pull in there. We're 46 diamonds shy of having another one, but that's okay. In here, we got Graveborn again, thinking of Rendell, thinking of building out Ivan. And then in here, we have 20. We can go ahead and do these pretty easy. Still, we are 0, guys. We have not pulled one single awakened hero out of the regular summons, which is pretty disappointing. Now, in here, Libirda is, of course, the one we're looking for in here. And maybe, nope, just some more resources. And then in here, we're going for Shamira, just like we talked. Should I play Classic or Companions? Classic. Guys, in my opinion, and I've shared this before, the Classic version is the full version of AFK Arena. It has all the heroes, it has all of the progression, it has all of the places. And they've even said that a lot of stuff that is coming to Companions, they are looking to bring over to AFK Arena. Don't know how or what that's going to look like, but if they are bringing it over, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, in here, I'm going to pick up Red Chest. We could pick up some Twisted Essence, some Pokecoins. I'm going to pick up Red Chest because, remember, we are at the point where we are still trying to get Randy up to that higher level signature item. We've been building them out. We don't have enough, but 26 right there. Even Ivan, we finally got to 20. We need a little bit more essence, which I think like another 2,000, probably a little less than 2,000 will take him up to 220, allowing us to make a lot more progression. And again, I feel like if I really stuck with this like we were at the very beginning, we'd already be a lot further than we are now. But you know what? It's free to play, guys. We're having a ton of fun doing the free to play account. I thought I saw you borrow Hero. Oh, I think Mesmer got him. Yeah, I think Mesmer dropped them both in their list. Thank you, though. I think he just gave them to me. When you get lent the hero, the other requests disappear if it's the same hero. So very, very easy. It does get rid of all of the rest of those requests in there. But I think that's it. As we continue our progression, event-wise, there's not a lot going out. We're just kind of waiting. Again, we have Legacy of Grit, which we could do a swap. Heroes Covenant, again, still looking to get some more copies. Out of here, Treasure Scramble, we're in. Temporal Rift. So let me look at the Temporal Rift for a minute, because we literally just started this within the Temporal Rift, and I hopped in here day one. We made a little bit of progression, which honestly, the continued progression in here is honestly what it is all about. So here, level 10 Trade Enhancer has to get a little bit higher. Temporal Rift, we ran through, I believe, 40 floors, 41 floors. That gave us double teams. I'm going to have to come through and figure out exactly what we're going to do with the secondary team. And of course, we can reset it. We can change heroes in here. There's a lot of things that we can do. And I'm going to drop, let's do Mishka in here. And again, let's throw some armor. So we're already 40 floors through here as a super new. I mean, we're talking, what, a week in? I think a little bit over a week in. So here we're going to drop these two. And this is the point where you're going to have to swap heroes between both. So we have a tank here. Let's say we have a secondary tank. This was actually a pickup that we got for free. And then let's go with a couple other heroes. Let's drop our SP effect in here. We'll throw the seal in here. Now, first team, of course, going to use Aethys, going to use a couple other ones. Let's use Palmer in the middle. This, of course, is going to allow us, and let's think, I think I'm going to put Randy up front, just for the simple fact, damage-wise, I think that's going to work pretty well with the alts. And then in here, again, utility-wise with the armor, make sure that we have whatever we can gear in here between both of these teams. So if we have any ability to get anything, which we do, just a basic Trader's Vault, there we go. And then we can auto battle and see exactly what we do in there. Yeah, very easy. Liberta is a beast, absolutely. Classic, like I said, I would play, and we're just farming. We're farming anything we can in here, guys. Any resources that we can get in this game mode it is good. It's a bonus. It's really icing on the top for what we're getting there. Is it useful because each pack of Mithril you purchase, you get a small bonus? It is, depending, Mesmer, how you get it. So to replace Rowan, can I use Misha? You can, but Misha does require a little bit more of a build, a little bit more of a defense. Rowan early game works super well. Akai, you could definitely use Rowan if you got him built up a little bit. So when you think about it, and guys, just thinking, again, bigger picture, when you look at purchases within games themselves, for me personally, buying the Mithril is a little bit more expensive than I can get it. Because remember, if you buy the Mithril, I believe they're still giving that 5% discount. But if I buy at different places, I can get a lot more of a discount, which again, this is super just kind of me specific, but it could also apply to you. Is there's times where locally, with Target, a few other retailers that buy discounted Google Play cards, I can get them at like a Sam's Club, a BJ's, a Costco. I can actually get the cards discounted. I can use my card, which gives me rewards within the card, meaning I can get like 3, 5, 7, up to 10% back on the discounted cards that I'm getting within, again, buying them somewhere else. So for instance, like for me, I usually stock up on cards. That's the reason why when you see I do a purchase, they come from gift cards. It's because I pre-buy the gift card. So if you think, let's say $100 Google Play gift card, buying it around the holidays, I can get it for $85. So a 15% on the gift card. Then I get the cashback rewards that I get from my regular card, just making the purchase, which brings it to about 18, maybe a 20% discount on the Google Play Store. And then I get Google Play rewards on top of the purchases, or I even get incentives at like shopping at Target. They have a Target Circle, which gives you a certain percent back. So I can save roughly 20%, 20+% by buying gift cards in advance, which is the reason why when I do see them discounted, I do pick up quite a few gift cards because I can save quite a bit of money versus saving, again, my 5% off the top with buying my mithril. And again, depending on your country, depending what it is, it really is dependent on your own situation, but you have the ability to get them a lot cheaper. Yep, 5% off with Target with the red card. There we go. There's your 5%. Then I get up to 5%, which I think my rewards card right now gives me 5% back at Target. So right there, I'm getting 10% off the gift cards that I'm buying in there, which is kind of crazy. Thanks, by the way, for the beginner's guide. I got to stage 10 in 6 hours. That is awesome. It is very awesome. To be honest, I like companions. So the big thing with companions, guys, is companions. And when you think about classic, when you think of companions, companions is a very, very light version of AFK Arena is the way that I view it. When you think about how basic heroes, there's not the problematic, there's not so many game modes. They've eliminated the collections, they've eliminated the engraving, eliminated the furniture. Companions, a lot of players like companions more because it is super, super easy. That's it. It is very easy to go through and play companions just for the simple fact that you have the ability to make progression really fast. So in here, did I do the Pippa event? No. No, I did not do the Pippa event, but look at this, guys. Right there is the 2,000 hero essence that we are looking for. That brings us over that 30,000 mark, which means that Randy is going to get some love because we are taking up his levels higher. Boom, there we go. 30K right there. Soul Surge gets leveled up, as well as all of these other levels. Now, like I said earlier, even the engraving, when we get some more of the materials in here, we are continuing to build him up. He's already at a 32. Accuracy, physical pierce, we leveled up. Crit, we leveled up. And then, of course, we have the attack rating in here. Again, leveling up a little bit further. And then we're doing the exact same, just going down the pipeline. Now, I think we're at all heroes must be level 200. So now we got to save another 25K right here. And then all of these heroes. So it is all about essence in the entirety, getting them built up a little bit further. And as you can see, we did take Iran up a little bit higher. Don't know if I'm going to swap with him. I don't feel like the rewards are that good. We could actually swap with like an Aethys, get a signature item in there through the Legacy of Grit, or another hero. I'm going to have to decide exactly who we want to swap with in here to build them up. But like I said, summon-wise, we're just kind of waiting. We're really waiting in a couple different places to see what we get. Getting in here our one whopping ability in there. Now, of course, in here we are looking, and I believe we got one copy of Halia already. So we're looking for land in there. Highest reward, look at that. Dragonborn stamps, we will absolutely take them. And again, very, very, very early with the draconic heroes, giving us a little bit more resources. I'm going to save for the exchange. I'm going to save for the insignias in here. But ultimately, our brand new account did get a lot of love when we went in there and made some progression, which is awesome. Thank you for all you will do. Just making sure because, yeah, thank you, Mesmer. Again, I know I'm not getting to all of the questions, and Mesmer absolutely crushes it in there with answering out the questions, which is awesome. You should put Skylin in a team. What do you mean, Crash? You didn't notice that he got him. Who are we looking at? Skylin? Maybe Sour? Sour gave us these two. Maybe I didn't notice. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not me. Coming back after a long few years, I see Ainz and Lucretia have fallen off. Yes. Power creep is crazy. Tonto, yes. It is absolutely wild and crazy how fast and how many heroes we have in here, guys. We've been burning through a crazy amount of heroes. Let's do a couple more summons in here. It is incredible with how fast they release heroes in AFK Arena. Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks like clockwork. It never stops. Still trying to get these heroes. And there we go, guys. The first one. And it's Shamira. Look at that. Oh, guys, streamer luck. Look at that. Oh, I got Skylin. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to look in Skylin. I did not see that I had it in Temporal Rift. Thank you, guys. And there it is, guys. The first one. That is the first pull from the regular ones. Let's go. I love it. That is awesome, guys. Using the diamonds, we got Shamira. Now, of course, the big thing with Shamira is having the ability to use the hero in a lot of different places, but also getting the SP effect, but also getting the Graveborn bonus. That is the other thing there, guys. That is awesome to see. And the very first one was the one we were looking for and we just got 20 red chests in there. Oh, we just need a couple more copies of Ivan, and Ivan will be ascended as well. And then that will be just absolutely awesome. Again, tower progression seems like this is going to make a really big difference with building the hero out within the resonating crystal. We've also gotten to the point where a lot of these heroes, you can see we're starting to mix. We have the Lightbearer faction in here. We have the Wilder faction. The only one I didn't include in here was the Maulers. But Maulers, I know we definitely have to build out and have a couple more of these to be effective. But overall, tower progression, that's going to make a huge difference, guys. What's going on, MBK? Now you can progress much faster. Yes, that's my thought, is looking in here again, thinking of the ability to drop out Athalia, drop in Shamira, and then have Shamira with the SP effect she possesses, but also having the ability to essentially build this hero out a little bit further. But we also do get the 3 hero effects, so attack plus HP in there, which again makes a big difference when it comes to survivability within the game mode. Very cool. Very, very cool to get the heroes built out. And again, we have the owl in here. I feel like with the extra 20 levels in here as well is going to make a big difference. It's absolutely going to make a big difference. Double hero release is fun. Triple hero release was just kind of asinine on companions. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Who should be my carry early mid game? Rendell. Rendell is the one, guys, when you think of progression, when you think of early carry, this is the hero that really is by far the absolute broken hero right now within AFK Arena. Yeah, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy with how fast and how, honestly, how strong he is in the combination again with Ivan. It is pretty broken. It is pretty broken with the combination of those two. It's awesome to see. It is really, really cool to see. Thanks. What about Damon or Garrison Rem? So Rem comes in when there's a second team. So if you did not get Sheltier, now unfortunately for me, I did not get Sheltier. The big thing within the Garrison is a lot of players have said Rem was a crazy strong carry. However, when you get to chapter, and I believe it is chapter 31, if I'm not mistaken, when you get to chapter 31, Rem is going to be part of your second team, or this is going to be your damage dealer within the second team, is what players are running. They have run Rem in that second team, allowing them to make a crazy amount of progression very fast, because again, Rem is going to be, and really the driving force in that second team is going to be Rem in the entirety, which is where you do want to incorporate Rem at that point. There is a copy of Saurus. If you remember, guys, old school players, Saurus used to be just the absolute devastating boss killer, man. Saurus used to be crazy, crazy, crazy strong in the ability to burn down bosses super fast. I love Saurus. When he was new, it was broken. I'm gonna have to go through, see who we can build, see what we can do in there. Elder Tree, maybe almost gaining another level in there. Field of Stars, I think we're pretty much maxed out in there. And then the Oaken. Let's do some. Yeah, I love Saurus. Tonto, Saurus was just an absolute monster, guys, when it came to the ability to literally just burn through a crazy amount of content or boss damage. It was kind of crazy. So in here, we're going to get our first one, which is going to be a mythic. Going to be Rendell. It is Gorin. We got a copy for Gorin. That's okay, though, because this card, of course, like I said earlier, Randy is going to be the one that we're going to go ahead and do the progression for first. He is the only one that we have right now. So again, those are ones we're going to save. And I think we can auto recycle. Let's put these two just in auto recycle, these two in auto recycle. I'm saving the rest of this legendary furniture just for the fact when we get another hero, we can already essentially equip everything on the hero, which would be nice. There's a custom furniture scroll, which we did. We'll have the ability to just auto recycle some of this, which when we go back, it should, recycled automatically. So getting a little bit further. And then, like I said, in here, we'll go ahead, auto place all the furniture. Boom, giving us our first piece of mythic furniture on a hero. Very cool. Draw 100 pieces of furniture. Not enough for another summon, but that's okay. That, again, makes us really focusing on here with the furniture itself, which is awesome. Yeah, Saurus was meta for a long, good days, guys. Just a question. I'm waiting for a new server, but it's 10 days. And no new server. If I start in the server with 10 days, is it bad for me? You'll start 10 days behind. Yeah, that is one of the problems is if you, ZZ, if you start right now, you are going to be 10 days behind everyone else. You could wait till you do get a new server. That way you can do the build it right on the new server. Might be a little easier, might be faster for progression. Because like I said, if you start today, you are going to be 10 days behind already, starting out day one. Now, of course, looking in your peaks of time, I need to find the time to go through and farm a lot of the peaks of time. Also going in here, we've been making a lot of progression in the hellscape. You can see right now we're 5th out of here borrowing heroes, but even looking in the cursed realm, did pretty well. Realm level mastery level 5, got to make some more progression in there, as well as doing the guild bosses, but everything else in here has been going pretty well. I mean, we've been making some pretty solid progression, and I don't know why little things kind of drive me crazy. Like in here, guys, I don't know why when you have the store, why we can't buy this or why we can't automate our purchases day one. I don't understand the reason why delay auto purchasing the stuff in the store. To me, it doesn't make sense. Now in here, you can see we can get some different heroes. In here, again, we're looking at stones, but we're going to pick up Rem. I want to get a copy of Rem and make sure that we have the ability. So let me do that now before I forget. So out of the garrison, exchanging. And out of here, honestly, labyrinth tokens are one that I feel like make a really big difference in here. The challenger tokens, the legendary, or the tokens in here, I think we can buy, we got 100 in here. Let's buy all of them. You know what? We only need 100. However, looking at here, we want to garrison the hero a couple times. Monthly exchange limit reached. There we go. So we're 200 stones, which is going to give us the ability to get that copy of Rem. A lot of players have also said that getting Amelia out of here makes a big difference. But honestly, I'm just going to go in here. Now remember, after we rent the hero 6 times, we no longer have to rent the hero at all, meaning now we have access to Rem in there in its entirety. What about a third team carry? So third team, again, is super dependent on if you have awakened heroes, if you have Libierda, depending who you've built is going to make a very big difference with where you build the hero. Where and how you can utilize that hero is going to make a really big difference. Now, of course, in here, if you're unfamiliar with our dimensional heroes, this is the place where you do have to link it to another hero, and they can't be in the same formation. Soul Fusion allows a dimensional hero to attain the same ascension tier and hero level as the target hero, but they cannot be in the same team. That is the reason why when you look here, even getting Rem built up to 1 star, now we still have to build Rem. In addition, you also do have to not only build Rem, but you also have to use all of your materials in here to, again, unlock signature items to build up everything else that Rem does possess. You're going to have to build her up, getting gear for her, but getting the engraving, getting the furniture, getting everything in the entirety. You are definitely going to have to build them. Maybe Shopfest purchased one of the VIP privileges. I think it comes much later. This is unrelated, but for some reason I can hear that voice from Shrek. Do the roar. Yeah, we have Rem now, which is awesome to build in here. Again, looking at a second ascended hero, getting the hero for free. But like I had said earlier, they cannot go in the same formation, which is the place where a lot of players don't realize. So even if we drop out Aethys, we cannot put Rem in here because Randall is here. If we drop him out, we can put Rem in here. It's either or. You can't put both of them, but you can put them in, not in the same team, but you can put them in separate teams. Now, again, that's the other big thing to remember is you can put these heroes in separate teams, which are going to work incredibly well. Yeah, third team, like I said, third team is going to be super dependent on who you have. That is going to be very, very important and very dependent on what heroes you were lucky enough to pull. What exactly does it look like? That is going to be dependent on where you are. Now, before we finish the stream, you guys, I want to make sure that we do the membership give back. So here it comes just in a minute. That will pop up with the gifting of the membership. We do this almost every single time we do our live stream, and it goes to Mesmer. Congratulations, Mesmer. That is awesome. I believe at this point he's got a golden hippo, if not a little bit higher than that golden hippo. So big shout out and all the help and love and support for the channel. That is awesome. What's going on, Gazi? Dimensionals are why tunes like Kaz and others are useful to build out. Yeah, to be able to link them together, yes. You can't 30 SIREM. I think it's too early because of the low resources. Yeah, Duckface, we're going to need a lot of resources out of there. Mesmer is right. Yeah, collections are huge. Guys, when I started building the collections this early in AFK Arena, collections are huge. Like I said with the Ghoulish Gallery, guys, you just have to suck it up. As difficult as it may be, as strenuous as it may be, going in there with the RNG of the collections, once you get to the point of being able to auto collections, you have to do it. You have to go in there. Sorry, I just joined. Is there any news on the Awakened Hippo? Not right now, Petty King. We are still waiting to see exactly what it looks like and how it is. I can't use my Dem hero in the second team. I thought you could, Space. I believe that was the exact same reason, unless they have to be hooked to someone else. I can't use the hero in the second. I'm going to have to check. I thought that was changed a long time ago. I haven't done it in a long time. But you can't use your dimensional hero, so it would have to be linked to someone not in the first team. Is that what you're saying, Space Wolf? Let me know. So that might be the case. I did well based on the heroes, but need the collections to really top out. Yeah, collections are the game changer, guys. When you think of a hero itself, and when you look at really the multiplication factor of when you do the signature item, once you do the signature item, once you get into building the engraving, adding the furniture on there, doing all of the elder level or elder tree leveling, once you start stacking, stats on stats on stats, and then you throw in the collection, which again is a multiplication factor for the stats the hero has, they make a really, really big difference. And there's some heroes that are very, very dependent on stats like erosion and a couple other ones. And look at that, Akai is a Hippo supporter. That is already 2 new members to the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. That is absolutely amazing, Akai. Thank you for joining us on the stream. But here, like I said, I'm going to farm out these towers as much as possible. I am going to go in there. Well, topped out for a non-Kraken. I'm more of a beluga, not quite a real whale. Yeah, Lith, I'm more like a baby dolphin. Last month, between everything that I put into AFK Arena, everything we put into other games, we were at about 70 bucks. I don't even know if that considers me a dolphin. I would say maybe like a guppy, maybe like a blue guppy, because we spent 70 bucks. And of course, that is where we're staying. $100 or less every month is what we're looking at. Only time we went over is getting some of those dimensional heroes. Collection doesn't require a whale, to be honest, just need luck. Yeah, it just takes time. If you think about it, guys, so tell me this for a minute. So when you think of collections, and I know Mesmer, just like he's talking right there, doesn't require a whale, to be honest. Now, when you think of, maybe a baby sardine, when you think of collections, you get 7 chances a week. Think about this. You get 7 chances a week to build collections. When you think of the course of a month, you're talking 28 days or 28 abilities to build out those collections. So 28. Now, when you do that, over, let's say, the next 10 months, now you got 280 chances for collections. When you start looking at the multiplication factor, and that is honestly where I feel like a lot of players do struggle with AFK Arena, is this game is about, just like most gacha games, it is about consistent, constant progression towards the goal of gaining more levels. That is it. That is really the big thing. That is by far the absolute biggest thing within this game, is constant progression towards making further progression. That's it. That is really the big part of this. If you're going in there, if you're not doing your collections, if you're not going in there, you have to build the collections, guys. It is one of probably the most pivotal points within AFK Arena, having strong collections. And even now is where my account is. We were, I think, 3 days in, and we had the ability to build out collections, which is kind of crazy. Are you going past 30 SI whenever you get the chance for Rendell? I might, Jacob. I don't know. We're going to have to see, because I know it's going to be a lot more expensive. Which collection should I go after? Honestly, day one, Tonto, is Rowan's collection. The reason being, when you look at Randy, when you look at Ivan, day one, I would go after and I would really, really look for the collection that you have built. The Rowan collection makes a big difference. So does just the support collections. Even looking, a majority of the heroes that I'm running are support. If you just want to build some basic collections, and honestly, when you get into collections, they will give you all the collections for free. So at least you have the ability to start with a very early collection, and it makes a big difference. It does make a very, very difference. SI40 between Leica, Aurelia, and Nox. Aurelia. So the thing with Aurelia, guys, like we've kind of talked about, looking at our tier list, Aurelia was actually number 2, right behind Liberta. The reason being, Aurelia needs a plus 40 signature item, or Aurelia really doesn't work. Leica will work with a 30. You won't see really the top end damage out of there, but Aurelia has to have the plus 40 or Aurelia does not work. Nox is another one that will work without the plus 40. So even looking at that, like what Mesmer said, I would do Aurelia, then I would do Leica, then I would look at doing Nox, just for the fact that Aurelia is the only hero out of those 3 that does not work without being built out. Aurelia will not work without the plus 40 signature item. Yep, yeah, you have to. It's a really, really important part. Sorry, guys. So that is going to do it for today's live stream. Thank you for all the new subscribers, all of the new members, and all of the love and support from Lith and Mesmer answering these questions out there. Always lending me heroes. It's kind of crazy because I know they do have the draconic heroes built, which I do not in its entirety, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, Aurelia needs the erosion collection. Aurelia needs to be built out in the entirety. But again, guys, thank you guys for joining me for the stream. Absolutely love doing this every single week. I got some shopping to do, some other things to take care of, but I'm going to farm all of the towers on the free-to-play accounts today and then get in and see what we can do in other game modes a little bit later. But I want to farm out of here because I want to farm the essence. Most of these, look at this. That's already 5,000 plus essence that we got out of here. Guys, farm the towers, farm the towers, farm the towers, which is awesome. Thank you, Tonto, and welcome back to AFK Arena. If you have questions, absolutely, guys. I love doing it. I love being able to hop on here, talk to you guys about AFK Arena, run through a lot of questions, making sure we know exactly how to progress as fast through the game. It's awesome, guys. And like I said, we're very, very close to that 40,000 subscriber mark, which is insane to think. You know, since we started AFK Arena years ago, 40,000 subscribers. Very, very cool to see. But again, guys, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you guys for joining me. And as always, thank you guys for watching.